We're not the same courtroom now in 2023 than we were in 2013 when I first came to this court.
She is the new lead juvenile judge in Franklin County, and she's taking questions from our Six on Your Side investigators. Our team continues to work on a series of stories that look at the impact of gun violence in Central Ohio.
One of the big topics and concerns flagged by community members and police, teens involved in crime. Our Haley Nelson taking questions to the court as they're revealing new plans and efforts with local kids in mind.
For about 6 months now.
And so growing up where I did, most people said that I couldn't or shouldn't be a lawyer.
Judge Lasheyl Stroud has been the lead juvenile judge for Franklin County, but it's a position she's envisioned for a while.
And so when I was in high school, I actually had a judge from this court who came to our high school and spoke, and then that really confirmed for me that it was possible.
Growing up in Linden, the judge tells me this is a calling.
So I think it's important to make sure that you have people who understand because they've actually been there.
Judge Stroud agreed to sit down with me for a wide-ranging interview to talk everything from new court efforts to taking on community concerns.
Understanding that times are changing, that trends are changing.
Teens involved in crime, still a big topic in the community, given a rash of car thefts, minors involved in shootings, and more.
We want to make sure that we're getting to the root of the issue.
She says the team pivots given certain trends. For example, in the past, youth would be given GPS monitoring if they were charged with a high-level felony like an F1 or F2. Now, given concerns over stolen cars, minors charged with something like that, technically a lower level felony, can have that monitoring.
We can keep a closer eye on the GPS monitor, and then that specialist is able to track them 24/7.
We've heard calls from the Fraternal Order of Police that the juvenile justice system here is failing, as some say they're tired of arresting the same kids again and again.
What would you say to people who are in that mindset, who feel that way?
I will have to. I don't believe that we are a failure at all. Do I believe that we are making adjustments every day based on what we see? Absolutely. Do I believe that we are working to strengthen our partnerships and our relationships with our external partners? Yes. I believe sometimes some people are focused on just what's right in front of them. And when we have an opportunity to sit down and look at the bigger picture and look at the numbers and go back, look at those trends, I think that's helpful.
What about repeat offenders, minors with long records?
I can't speak specifically to any one case. We look at every case, and we do look at the history. We do a lot of assessments in our court, and different people make recommendations.
The court is made up of different layers, so to speak, depending on the youth. Some to prevent them from becoming court involved, programs and efforts to prevent them from becoming more deeply involved in the system, and efforts tailored to kids, for example, with more serious charges.
How can you tell these programs are working? Are there examples or things that you can share with us?
Yes, so we look at the data. We have an evaluation department to where that's all they do is data. So we are a very data-driven court. For example, our truancy intervention program. We can look at it and maybe, I know it's over 65%, probably higher than that. But we can see that once we've put these things in place, that a lot of the youth are being successfully diverted out of the courtroom.
The team at the court tells me as well, kids they're dealing with today are notably different than in past years, citing the role, for example, of social media. The judge says they've also launched new efforts as recently as just months ago.
I know the city, for example, just invested $20 million in summer youth programming for kids. Do you think something like that can help? Do we need to see even more efforts like that to help our young people?
Absolutely. I don't think any one person or organization should carry the weight. I don't think it's any one of ours responsibility. I think it's about all of us coming together to figure out what we can do in our respective areas.
The judge tells me, for example, they do have members from multiple police forces that are part of their standing meetings to talk about issues and data. They're also working on a law enforcement summit, I'm told. Bob, Stacia.
Haley, they have a lot of different programs happening now, too.
Yeah, quite a few. They even told me, for example, young people may do cleanup work across the community, different community work if ordered. Something else, we talked a lot about those trends in the story. Of course, we're seeing a trend of younger kids being involved in stolen car situations.
So they said, they had to work on that, a place to take these kids to do some of this community work that's appropriate. So certainly a complex topic, complex situation, but you can see even more of our stories in this series if you click on the Investigators tab on our website.
Good to hear from her honor. Thank you, Haley.